the campus of Paulsboro High School in Paulsboro, New Jersey, the Gloucester County Educational Network presents high school basketball. Tonight, the Paulsboro Red Raiders host the Woodbury Thundering Herd in the South Jersey Group 1 Championship game. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. A packed house here at Paulsboro High School anticipating the game of the year. Paulsboro hosting Woodbury. These are two teams that are very familiar with one another. Paulsboro has been victorious in the first two matchups this season. These are teams that are arch rivals in almost every single sport. Two teams that are very familiar with one another, and two teams that know each other very well, literally family members on each side of the court.
Yeah, I mean, you would talk about Group 1, the two powerhouses in football, basketball, even track at some point. These are two teams that are so familiar. They're neighborhood rivals. They know each other. They play with each other coming up. Some of, like you said, some family members on both sides. So you know your strengths and weaknesses. But what Paulsboro has been able to do, putting together a 29-0 record with two big wins against Woodbury this year, they've dominated the Herd this season. But that is also a detriment sometimes because Woodbury now comes in with nothing to lose. You look at Paulsboro, they come in with everything to lose, nothing more to gain than just a South Jersey title. But they certainly come in with that X on their back. When you're undefeated, you haven't had that blemish, you haven't been tested, you look at some of their scores, a lot of them have been lopsided. So Woodbury coming in with nothing to lose, they can just try to shoot the lights out, and they've played extremely well over the last half of the season.
Woodbury, as you mentioned, red hot coming into this game. A local newspaper writer said it's not a question of whether Paulsboro wins tonight, it's a question of by how many. Well, I tell you, the Thundering Herd are stoked for tonight, and they're going to be led by Mike Smith, one of the two seniors on this team. They're going to look for Smith to really lead the way.
Yeah, what Smith does really well is a lot of different things. He's one of those guys that can lead his team in scoring, but also plays tremendous defense, a leader on the court. He's a go-to player. Sometime during the game, you're going to need somebody to score a couple of points. He did that against Wildwood. He made some really tough shots. Teams have tried to defend against him, and he's still been able to score. That's the type of player he is. He's that go-to player. When Paulsboro gets on a little bit of a run, you need somebody to be able to score and stop the bleeding. Smith's that guy for Woodbury.
Well, this has been a storied season for Paulsboro. They come in tonight with a 29-0 mark. They're led by Xavier Lundy. Lundy is someone who is even-keeled. Coach Collins describes him as a rock. They're going to need that rock tonight. Lundy's going to lead the way, and no better man. Lundy projects to be a major Division I talent.
Well, he can do everything with a rock. This guy can pass, he can shoot, he can defend. He gets up and down the court extremely well. The one thing Paulsboro has been able to do and really get on their runs is they play tremendous defense, in-your-face type defense. They pressure the basketball, and he's that type of guy that he's going to get his hand on a lot of balls. He's going to be able to deflect some passes. Then he gets out on the break extremely well. He can rise to the rim. He can shoot off the dribble. There's nothing that this kid has not been able to do this year. Coach Wiedemann from Haddonfield said he was the best player in South Jersey. Not too sure if that's accurate or not because there's some other good players around in South Jersey. However, certainly for this team, Lundy's the guy. He can do so many different things for you. Kind of like Smith, when you need a basket, Lundy's the go-to guy for Paulsboro.
Both of these coaches talked about the need to coming out with a great deal of intensity. The first quarter could be critical. In fact, Coach Kenny Events said, you know what? We like the fact that we lost the first two games. It gives us the advantage. Well, we will see which team comes out stronger, which team comes out quicker. We'll have it for you in just a few moments. Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams, and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One. The Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports. Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. About to get underway here. We will have our starting lineups. You see Woodbury in their traditional royal, trimmed in white and gold. And on the right side, it is Paulsboro in their scarlet and white. We'll throw it down to the PA announcer who will give you tonight's starting lineups.
And now, for the starting lineup, for Woodbury, Kevin Wilbur, number 4, sophomore, Jermaine Kennedy.
starting lineups. You could hear from the PA announcer, Paulsboro boasts 3 seniors and 2 juniors in their starting lineup. To give you an idea, Woodbury with just 2 seniors on their entire roster. This is a very young team, and that's one of the things that Coach Kenny Event talked about is their maturation as a team. For Paulsboro, you see the starters there, Johnson, Childress, and Alford. The guards, Lundy and Davenport, are your juniors, and Lundy and Davenport will take up a tremendous amount of space. Great length, great athleticism. For Woodbury, your starters, Martin, Smith, we talked about, Demby, Gamble, and Joyner Villa, your starting 5. The other senior for Woodbury coming off the bench is Dan Triplett.
You know, one of the things that you're going to see coming off the bench for Paulsboro is a couple of freshmen who made an impact and really propelled this team to a perfect record throughout the regular season and now into the postseason. And this is a very talented and deep team, as Paulsboro has been throughout the regular season. You know, Woodbury came in here with very little expectations. A lot of people thought, okay, well, we don't know what we're going to get from Woodbury. A young team. A lot of those guys had to mature into varsity players, and they're playing their best basketball, Rob. This is the time of year you want to be playing at a high level. The herd has been fantastic over the last 5 games.
We're underway here. Paulsboro in the home white with the basketball, looking inside to big Davenport, off glass, good.
Yeah, the big guy. That's one of the problems that Woodbury's going to have is can they try to control the lane, the paint with Davenport there. The big thing that they're going to need to do, take the ball to him, try to get him in foul trouble, and that he already picks up his first foul here 20 seconds into it. Something extremely important for Woodbury to do, drive right at Davenport.
Tonight's officials, Scott Rosenbaum, Jason Stallworth, and Kevin McGettrick. 2-0 lead here early for Paulsboro. First free throw is good from Dwan Martin.
One thing that you're not going to see from this Woodbury team is intimidation. They're not going to be afraid to go to the lane, to drive to the basket. That's something that's going to be paramount for this team to do as far as trying to get some type of a tempo in the first quarter.
Conversely, talked a little bit about the difficult task of beating a team 3 times in 1 year, and a lot of times that's attributable to a lack of intensity. That won't be a problem tonight because these 2 teams are truly arch rivals. Big rebound by Woodbury, and Gamble dishes back to the wing. Inside, and they're going to call a travel here.
That's just the presence of Davenport. Davenport, with that big frame, is going to not only block shots, but alter shots as well. Force guys into bad situations and a turnover by Woodbury.
You can see Woodbury utilizing that press, but it's very difficult for Woodbury to be effective because of the size of Paulsboro. A 3-pointer hit, and right away Woodbury's Donald Childress is on the board.
Yeah, you can't allow Childress to be that wide open. He can sink those shots from the outside. That time Woodbury just kind of fell asleep around the perimeter.
Davenport alters that shot, and Woodbury quickly with the 5-2 lead across the timeline. Long 3-point shot off rim, rebounded once again. It's Paulsboro. Paulsboro's Childress driving inside, kissing it off the glass, and it falls for Calvin Johnson. And foul committed by Johnson, who just hit that 2-point field goal. 2 fouls here early for the Red Raiders.
Well, Woodbury's going to have to step into the lane and draw charges. You know, you're not going to be able to beat this Paulsboro team if they're going to drive to the basket that easy. Paulsboro's already had some terrific looks early in this game, both from the outside and then scoring in the paint. You got to limit one of those.
And again, we're going to have another travel here from Jure Demby. Another key turnover by Woodbury. They trail 7-2. We're just about a minute into this first quarter. Again, they continue with the press.
Demby twisted his ankle in the Shallot game, and you know he's been putting ice on it ever since. But it's going to be interesting to see how he comes and sustains the level of play throughout this game.
Alford with the pull-up jump shot. Ball knocked away. One of the things that has impressed me, Shawn, about this Paulsboro team is They have a tremendous amount of depth, and they're very unselfish. To give you an indication, 4 people have scored already here in this first quarter. The only person who hasn't scored is their primary threat, Xavier Lundy.
You don't go 29-0 without having good depth. I mean, not only through the starting 5, but also, as I mentioned, coming off the bench. There's guys that can flat out just light it up.
Ball kicked around, and it's found by Martin, who lays it up and in. DeJuan Martin providing all the offense here early. It's 9-4.
That's
and another travel.
You know what's going to be important for Woodbury, Rob, is every loose ball. Every little 50-50 ball that you can get to if you're the herd, you got to be able to take advantage. All the small things, the detailed things are going to have to be won by the herd if they're going to proceed in this game and stay close with this very talented Paulsboro team.
One of the things Woodbury has to be mindful of is they can't get themselves up in the air. It's so tempting to try to drive, but with that great side of Paulsboro, they're going to alter shots, and Big Davenport's going to pull down another rebound. Another key to tonight is Woodbury's going to have to get their share of offensive rebounds if they want to compete. Driving baseline inside, knocked away, and Woodbury comes away with it. Here comes Smith across the timeline. Smith looks to penetrate, does, jumping inside left-hander, no good, off glass, it's Lundy. Lundy quickly finds his guard in Calvin Johnson, and he will quickly distribute to Alfred.
Yeah, the length on Paulsboro is going to alter shots. There you see Smith with a real difficult shot. Good attempt by him just to get a hand on that to get the rebound.
And again, another quick foul here from Johnson, trying to stop the onrushing Joyner Villa. His second foul, the third on the team, and quickly Coach Sean Collins will pull him out.
Yeah, Johnson's really unhappy with himself. There you see Kenny Avant. What a terrific coach. Has this team playing in the South Jersey final. This is the 3rd time in 4 years for him. He was back-to-back champions in 2009, 2010. Of course, last year, 2011 champion was Pittman. Finds himself in this position once again.
Wild shot here by Triplett, and now Paulsboro will look to turn on the O to the wing. Pull-up jump shot from 10 feet, nothing but the bottom of the net. Nice little mid-range jumper for the Red Raiders, Derek Burgess.
See Sean Collins, Shalleck graduate, went on to play at Monmouth University. Has become one of the elite coaches in South Jersey.
Another turnover here, and they've had their share here early. Martin, who's provided all 4 points for the Herd with the turnover. 3:45 left in this first quarter. An electric atmosphere here at Paulsboro, South Jersey Group 1 championship game. Inside, turnaround, off glass, strong, followed up by Lundy.
Weak side rebound, and Lundy brings it home. It's got terrific elevation, sees things extremely well. Not only the court and being able to pass, but ball's coming off of the backboard and getting tons of rebounds. This guy just does about everything correctly.
And a foul committed as Paulsboro looked to break out. The first on the Thundering Herd.
You know, Rob, what Woodbury's going to do is they're going to have some turnovers in this game because Paulsboro is going to force that, especially in the half-court set with the length. But Woodbury's going to have to take care of the basketball coming up court. Get into your half-court set, slow things down, try to find some good shots, and you're going to be able to do that by taking the ball off the dribble and kicking it back out to the outside, trying to establish something inside the paint. It's too easy right now.
Three-point jumper by Joanne Alford. He has 5, the second 3 for the Red Raiders in this first quarter. 2:59 left. Paulsboro jumps out to a 16-4 edge. We talked about the importance of this first quarter, and right now the Red Raiders are having their way.
Absolutely, and you're exactly right. You have, to start this game, you knew that Paulsboro was going to come out with a lot of intensity, but it's been very patient. They're getting the open looks.
Davenport knocks it away. And a steal on the other end. Here come the Herd looking to break out. And it's going to go off of Alfred, I believe.
Yeah, it was Alfred coming in deflecting that. How about you look at Paulsboro and what they're able to do. Davenport, with his great size, is able to get those hands in there and deflect that basketball and start the break. There's just so much defense on this team because of the way they're able to attack the basketball.
Martin denied by Davenport. On the ground again, penetration inside, off glass, no good. Here come the Red Raiders. They have numbers. Pushing, feed, inside glass, too strong, tipped up, and again, it's the Thundering Herds triplet. He'll quickly outlet. And now Woodbury, pull-up jump shot. Lundy will have none of it. Again, driving off of Davenport, wild shot high off the glass. And right now, both teams playing a little bit out of control.
Yeah, that time Devontae Miller's going to get called with the reach-in, but a terrific job by Davenport holding his ground, just uses that long length, just puts his arms in the air, does not use his body to block the shot, doesn't get off the ground. There's Woodbury right now trying to drive into the guy and get his second foul. And that's one of the things that if you're Woodbury, absolutely, you're going to try to get it in there and get Davenport on the bench.
To the wing. They'll work it back out top. Lundy distributes. Open three-point shot is short. Davenport, and Davenport will eat that up all day long. He has 4. Woodbury searching for answers here, and that's not it. 18-4, and a timeout called as Kenny Event would like to regroup. You know, be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to NJ.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One. The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports.
Here you get to see Alex Silvestro, part of the New England Patriots, and Big Alex coming out of Paulsboro was a terrific, not only football player, but also an outstanding wrestler as well.
And an excellent baseball player.
And he was a good baseball player, he certainly was. Really good all-around athlete. We had a chance to get to know Alex extremely well. It was kind of like the gentle giant, very quiet, unassuming.
Another
nice
long
kid.
three finds its way home. And right now, Juwan Alford has his stroke. He has 8 to lead all scores. 21-4. Quick three knocked away. Once again, it's Alford. He's all over the place. Quickly distributes inside, and we're going to have a foul here.
Right now, you know, Woodbury is collapsing. They want to make sure that they don't allow so many points in the paint. However, they're leaving that perimeter wide open. They cannot allow Alford and Childress and company to be able to shoot from the outside consistently because they can knock those down.
Top, Little finds Alford, off glass, followed up Lundy, no good, inside again, off glass, and right now, Paulsboro owning every aspect of this game as Burgess pours in 2 more. He has 4. Inside, Lundy denies, knocked away. The Red Raiders and the Herd steal it right back, and a foul called here. Daniel Triplett. You know, the problem right here, Shawn, is that Woodbury's in such a hurry because every time they give Paulsboro an opportunity to regroup, one of the big guys is altering shots.
Yeah, there's so many ways that Paulsboro can beat you, and you're seeing it here. They're too difficult to defend. You're not able, without any length on Woodbury, you're not able to get any points in the paint or really have a threat. So Paulsboro's just sitting back and swatting shots.
Open three, strong, pulled down by Triplett. Here come the Herd with just 19 seconds left in a woeful first quarter. Driving inside, and once again, Alford, who's been everywhere, is now making his presence known on the defensive end.
Wow, 23-4. Dominant performance here early in this first quarter by Paulsboro, and you're seeing why Paulsboro's 29-0. They can beat you in so many different directions, so many different ways, and the defense is phenomenal.
Once again, another Red Raider rebound. Alford a little out of control, and this ball will find its way out of bounds. The Red Raiders will have possession with just 2 seconds remaining. Lundy for 3. Good!
Wow, wow.
Well, if you weren't sure if everything went Paulsboro's way in that first quarter, now you know. They will head to the second quarter with a lead of 26-4. Just a reminder to be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey, in-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to NJ.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Bio Swan. The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports. We'll step away. Raiders on top, 26-4. Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. We start with a three from Michael Smith. Only the second person on the score sheet for the Herd. Inside, knocked away. Battle. And it's Woodbury again, off glass and good.
Well,
Smith answers quickly.
With 5 consecutive points, Rob, I mentioned this is a guy that can score for Woodbury, and they're going to need some points from him, a go-to guy to stop the bleeding. And certainly Woodbury bludgeoned in that first quarter.
Well, Salim Little had a little trouble on the other end, and now Michael Smith will turn into instant offense. 44 seconds in, Smith has already outscored his entire team in the first quarter. And he misses the free throw. He has 5 points. Woodbury trailing by 17, 26-9. There you see Smith. We talked about him in the open. Smith, the senior, hits the tail end to make it a 26-10 game. Lundy from Alfred. And checking back in is Johnson, who had 2 fouls early. Holloway finds Alfred. And going to slow things down with that 16-point edge. Inside for Lundy. Lundy bodied up, fed inside, and Davenport is fouled. Nice look by Lundy.
Great look by Lundy. I mean, again, he can pass over you, and he's able to even get that shot off, but he's going to create for his teammates and get everyone involved. You know, Rob, it's just amazing when you look at this team, the different things that they can do, and the different scores that they have on this team and ways they can beat you. Terrific cast with Davenport in the middle, again with that great size, 6'7", presence in the middle. Lundy can jump out of the gym as well. You have guys that come off the bench that can spell these guys for a few minutes, and you don't lose much.
Well, Davenport hits. He has 5. Tell you what I like about this kid is not only is he big and really have a presence, but he's an athlete. A lane violation there, so just 1 of 2 officially. 27-10, 6:45 left. First quarter was all Paulsboro. Woodbury trying to slow the pace down and whittle away this large Red Raider lead. Pull-up jump shot again. Davenport makes his presence known. Here comes Lundy, feeds Davenport inside, stripped away. Good defense by Smith. And a foul called here against the Red Raiders.
And I think that's Calvin Johnson. That's going to be his third. He hit the deck hard. But Johnson with his 3rd foul, he'll definitely have to sit now the rest of this first half. So he's really dejected not being able to play many minutes in this first half. Luckily for Paulsboro, they do have the depth. It's coming into the game. For Paulsboro, number 15, Salim Little. Little, a track star, not just here in South Jersey, a national track star, a huge name. A lot of people will be hearing a lot about him.
Good look inside, but Lundy there to rip it away. Arrow points to Paulsboro. So they will take over here. And Holloway to inbound. finds Alford. Alford feeds Lundy. Lundy drives inside off glass. Good.
What control of his body he's able to work around the defender. Flip one up, get the shot, the foul.
Well, again, we talked about the athleticism of this team as a whole and Xavier Lundy individually. There you had an opportunity to see it. Misses inside, it's Davenport, no good. So Lundy now with 7. Here come the Herd. They'll push. Pull up 3, too strong, rebound, and once again it's Paulsboro's Little, stripped away, and now travel.
Wow, I think Smith has a case on that one. He might have got pushed that forced that travel. Right now Kenny Aven is asking someone to explain that call to him, and that, I think they might have a case. Looked like he might have got pushed a little.
Woodbury will continue with their press. Lundy, they'll feed Alford. Alford now will set up the offense. Up top, finds his man in Holloway. Back to Alford, who looks inside for Davenport, knocked away. A lot of turnovers from both of these teams. To the wing, open 3, too strong, pulled down, and here comes Little, but knocked away. And
Just stolen by Dwan Martin. 5'9" junior is able to take that ball away. The quick steal and the quick deuce.
Both teams a little careless. And this one's going Woodbury way. 29-12, still a sizable lead for Paulsboro.
Yeah, right now, if you're Woodbury, you'd like these last 5 minutes, try to get it down to around 10. You're going to do that by not forcing the basketball, making good decisions, don't turn the ball over, and especially don't give up easy baskets in transition.
Burgess checks into the game for the Red Raiders. And here you see that 1-3-1 trap of Paulsboro. Driving through, runner. No good, tipped up, and it's going to go to Paulsboro.
You see how Davenport, and I don't know if we're able to get the angle correctly to be able to see it, but see how Davenport's able to redirect shots. That time, going in is Joyner Villa, and he goes in from the side instead of going straight at the basket. That
Again,
forced the basketball off to the side.
Stifling defense from Demby, knocking the ball off of Alford. Again, both of these teams playing very loose with the basketball. 5 minutes remaining, 29-12. Woodbury. One of the things that Coach Kenny Event pointed out, Shawn, is that this is a smaller basketball court, and in many ways that really favors Paulsboro because of their size. Using the body, Demby muscles up a pair. It's now 29-14. Here's Lundy. Has Davenport, but it's knocked away. Stolen away once again by the Herd, and trying to collect himself is Demby. Driving inside, runner, left hand, good. Beautiful move by Michael Smith.
Great use of the left hand. But you see Woodbury. Woodbury as well is able to use their hands, try to get some turnovers, create transition. You don't want to, once Paulsboro settles in, you've seen him take some outside shots in transition, and that's okay, because you're not going to get too many good looks if you're any team, Woodbury or otherwise, against this Paulsboro team once they get in the half-court set.
Alford feeds, finds his man off glass, and Burgess knocks it home. He has 6, his first basket of the second quarter. Smith driving inside, stolen away. It's Alford. He has had himself a heck of a basketball game.
Rob, I don't think I've ever seen quick hands as much with these two teams. There's so many deflections, so many steals. It's hard to get a shot off.
Look at the body control of Julian Davenport, putting on a clinic here. The big man, 6'7", with finesse. Inside through Davenport, that's not going. And I think Davenport's just kind of questioning, what can I do, as he tried to grow roots. To the free throw line will be Woodbury. Juan Martin, who is 2 for 2 on the night, he has 6 points for the Herd. They only have 3 men who have scored thus far.
Right, you brought up the point of this is a smaller court than most gyms in South Jersey. And what Kenny Event did was put down painter's tape to simulate that small court, and so allowing Woodbury to try to work out of those traps that they would face against this Paulsboro team. And to some degree, it's worked okay. You know, Woodbury hasn't gotten too many situations where they're turning the ball over and allowing for easy baskets in transition.
Little Davenport to Lundy. Lundy good. Just that easy. And that's kind of the tale of the night, Shawn. Woodbury working so hard for every opportunity, and Paulsboro seemingly having it easy. Knocked away again, Davenport. He'll slow things down as he finds Alford, who's been nothing short of spectacular tonight.
Well, Paulsboro with that length, they're going to create a lot of turnovers. And right, you're right. You know, Woodbury has to step in the lane and draw a charge or two.
Right on cue, Alford just continuing his beautiful evening. Joyner Villa pulls up the dribble, finds Smith. Smith, pull-up jump shot, Davenport knocks it away. Here comes Alford. Alford feeds the wing. Davenport, great look! Slurm! Xavier Lundy.
How about the big guy getting down the court, making that extra pass? And I'll tell you what, he feeds well. When you look at Davenport and his great size, the little things that he does, you know, he's a big guy, he's going to block shots, he's going to get some rebounds for you, but he's able to use not only that length to grab rebounds, but he also, a lot of deflections, a lot of steals, and he can get down the court and make terrific passes as well. He's the all-around complete player. You look at Lundy and Davenport, those are two really nice-looking juniors here at Paulsboro.
You can see Davenport just altering shots time and time again. 39-17. Lundy. Davenport. Short. Rebound, kicked up top, and Alford will redirect. Three-point shot, a long arcing shot, and it's Davenport. Inside, bodies, right-hander, good.
Yeah, that's a sweet move by the big guy. Soft hands in the middle. I mean, you look at Davenport. When he's out of the lineup, this team is I wouldn't say pedestrian because they're still a terrific team, but they're a different type of team. And Davenport gives them that extra bit, that size on the inside, the extra length. And a guy that, frankly, teams fear when you're facing him. He blocks too many shots, but he does all the other little things well, Rob, that makes him also a complete player.
Oh, that last set, you got a sense of the desperation of Woodbury. Just as soon as they even have a little bit of clearing, they're throwing something up. Let's take a look at this fine play.
Look at Davenport. That's a 6'7" guy finding his teammate and his buddy streaking down the court for the slam and getting this crowd elevated.
Well, we mentioned before, this is a team that boasts a tremendous amount of depth, but not only do they have depth, they have two true superstars. I think it's a shame in some ways because Davenport gets overshadowed by Lundy, but when you watch some of the many things that Davenport does, he is a huge talent, and I mean that in every respect of the word.
Now, we talked about Alex Silvestro, who is one of the players in the Super Bowl, and this guy knows a thing or two about Super Bowls, Isaac Redman. Pittsburgh Steelers running back, coming back to be a part of this bitter rivalry between Woodbury and Paulsboro. Over the years, it's been some outstanding games, not only on the court, but also on the football field as well.
Foul called before the shot. You saw the long three from Michael Smith. Last 30-win season in South Jersey, going all the way back to 1995, Shawn, back when you were just 39. 31-1. Juan Martin at the free throw line. He hits the first.
That was 39 and 95. That would make you
39 today. Martin will look to hit once again. At this point, Woodbury looking for moral victories. Knocked away, and they will maintain possession. We saw Alex Silvestro and Isaac Redman. Again, you just get a sense of so much talent coming out of these hallowed halls of Paulsboro High School. Another football player, Gerald Hodges, is at Penn State now. Honorable All-American collegiately. And Michael Smith is continuing to have a night for Woodbury. Here's Lundy across the timeline. He'll pull it up, and he finds his man, and that's Alford. Inside, off glass, good. Derek Burgess. He has 8-4 in each of the first two quarters, down to 63 seconds remaining. Long three-point shot and nowhere close. Forced shot.
That's a forced shot, exactly. You need to have good looks. It's good to get in transition. You don't mind the open shot, but it's got to be a good look. I mean, you look at what Woodbury's done. They've really adjusted well. After they went down 23-4, they've maintained hanging with Paulsboro, but it's that first spurt that they could not adjust to. And Kenny, even that's a mark of a good coach, being able to adjust to certain things. Woodbury's been able to do that, but is it too late?
Smith denied by Lundy. And again, you talk so much about the talent, but so many things goes into being a superior talent. Hustle being a large part of that. You saw it. Lundy hustling back to the defensive end and denying Smith the opportunity. Smith, open three, good. Wow. I tell you what, Kenny Event really talked a lot about Smith, and now you see why. Davenport inside, and it's going to be a jump ball. I tell you.
Smith's the player. I mean, you can see that Smith coming in here, this senior, brings a presence on the floor. Only 5'9", but plays a little bit bigger than what he does. He can jump. He uses his body effectively. He does a lot of the good things that you want to see from a senior.
Smith looks to create his own shot. Baseline, pull-up jump shot is short. Here's Davenport. He'll look to outlet, finds Little. Little in trouble. Back to Davenport. Inside Little. They're playing a game of catch. Davenport, slurp. That does it for the first half, and what a exclamation point on an exciting first half for this Paulsboro Red Raiders squad. We head to break. Paulsboro on top of Woodbury in the South Jersey Group 1 championship game, 45-27. Welcome back to Paulsboro High School, the site of the South Jersey Group 1 championship game. There you see the score. Paulsboro on top 45-27 and a fast-paced first half. Just a reminder to be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams, and player rankings in each sport. Photos and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios Swan. The Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports. Well, that first half, we saw Paulsboro with a balanced attack. 3 players in double figures, Davenport and Lundy, leading the way with 11 points each, and Alford and Burgess certainly contributing as well. It was really the Mike Smith show for Woodbury with 17 points. We'll have more on the first half action. Let's throw it down to Shawn Leary, who will recap some of the events in the first half of this South Jersey Group 1 championship game. Shawn?
All right, I'm with the guy who puts the star in Star Ledger. At least the Star Ledger, the family tree, NJ.com, basketball reporter Rob Edwards, also with the Gloucester County Times. And now I think we might have had a little wager on Paulsboro, Pensgrove. Do you want to do double nothing, say Woodbury comes back in this one?
I can't do that. And, you know, obviously I love Kenny Avent, and he's a great coach, but what you've seen in this first half is what every team has seen out of Paulsboro all year, and they're just unstoppable. You know, 45-27, a lot of teams look at the offense that Paulsboro's had this season, but it's really their team defense, and that's why they have an 18-point lead right now.
Yeah, so far you've been able to see Julian Davenport, and a lot of people talk about Xavier Lundy, but how special is Davenport as a junior? He's kind of the guy that flies under the radar, but he's a special player.
Absolutely, and he gets overshadowed because of Xavier Lundy, but he's got 11 points, you know, for the co-lead with Lundy, and obviously that dunk before halftime, really an exclamation point.
What does Woodbury got to do to get into this one? I know they got to score a ton of points, but how do you get back into it?
It's tough because you put that press on, and Paulsboro has 5 guys on the floor at all times that can break that press and get to the basket, and that's what hurts the press. they're just going to need a little bit of luck, really.
Rob, what do you see in this first half that you see from Woodbury? Is there something that they can do to try and cut back into this? I know we talked about, obviously them trying to score and take care of the basketball, but is there somebody on the court that they're going to be able to go to here in the second half?
Well, as you've seen in the first half, the offense runs through Mike Smith. He has 15 points. He's the game leader right now with points, but I don't know how many more three-pointers he has left in him.
What do you say if you're Kenny Event at halftime to these guys?
A great season.
Has been a good season for Woodbury, and they've come back. They've been kind of the underdogs throughout the season after the rough start. They played extremely well in the second half of the season. We'll see if they can play extremely well in the second half of this one. Rob, thanks for joining us. As I said, the guy puts the star in the Star Ledger.
Welcome back to Paulsboro. We start the second half. Paulsboro on top, 45-27. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. And quickly, a steal. Just what the doctor ordered here for Woodbury. And throwing it down off the rim is Martin. Martin just one of 3 scores in that first half for the Herd.
Well, you see, it's been about even, Rob. When you look at the two teams in transition, creating turnovers and making them into points. But what they have to do a better job, and a nice block there, is in the half-court set. Woodbury has to challenge Paulsboro, make it a little bit more difficult on the defensive side of the ball for Lundy, for Davenport, and also Alford, who's been able to drive to the basket and get a lot of points that way as well.
Well, you see Alford gives it back to Johnson. Johnson has been saddled with fouls throughout the evening. He has 3. The senior looking to have a big night here. But instead, Woodbury takes it away, laid up and in. Once again, Michael Smith now, who has 19 of his team's 31 points. Johnson with the basketball, looks to penetrate, dishes, finds Davenport, who comes up top, stolen away once again. Woodbury has come out with a tremendous amount of intensity and a foul called here. And it's going to go against Paulsboro. And you see Woodbury getting a little rise out of their fans.
Yeah, Woodbury fans are charged up. And Kenny Avent and company, Rob, they played the underdog throughout this entire season. So being down early to Paulsboro, they're certainly not going to give up. And you've been able to see throughout this game, they're able to deflect some balls. They're able to grab some steals and create some opportunities on the break. Now it's just an opportunity for them to improve on the half-court game.
They called the foul on Alford, and it probably should have been on Childress. Coach Collins not particularly pleased with that event, but Alford nonetheless charged with the foul. Woodbury with possession. You see the trapping defense of Paulsboro. 3, and that's going to be 3 foul shots here as Davenport just got a little bit away from himself, and the one person you don't want to foul is Mike Smith. He's at the line.
Right now Paulsboro hurting itself. They're not taking care of the basketball. They're making mistakes mentally on defense. This is going to be the problem that Paulsboro will face, is not beating themselves here in the second half. Talent-wise, experience, and what they're able to do on the court against Woodbury, they should be able to finish this game out. But it's going to determine whether or not they keep their composure, hold on to the basketball, and minimize mistakes.
Smith, this is the second. Remember, 3 free throws here. 45-32, trying to draw within a dozen. Rolls out. Davenport pulls it down, and quickly Paulsboro will break. Alford kicks. Lundy for 3, too strong. Rebound is Johnson. Johnson, and we have a push.
You see Johnson's frustrated. He's waited for this opportunity to get into a South Jersey final. Had to sit most of the first half, so you know that he's going to be frustrated coming in here in the second half. But he can't allow that to dictate his play. He can't make mistakes and put him down where he's going to have to sit again.
Johnson pushed Smith earlier after the play was over. That could have been another foul. And a wild play here. And Coach Collins is going to call timeout. He doesn't like what he sees whatsoever.
I don't blame him.
It's really been all Woodbury here. And you get a sense that the Thundering Herd feeling the momentum turn.
Just want to make sure everyone knows that this game is brought to you by the Harrison House. Been in Mullica Hill for nearly 20 years, serving local customers and weary travelers alike right around 322. A terrific place to grab something to eat. Tracing its roots to the Costantino Bennis, who first established a family business and food service more than 50 years ago. And also, the Cake Boutique, another Mullica Hill staple right now. Pastry chef Alexandra Bennis. Her unique vision of confections of custom cakes and cupcakes, now a reality thanks to the love and support of family and friends. There's two really good eateries in the Mullica Hill area that you might want to check out. You see Paulsboro's path.
Closest game, 25 points.
Oh yeah, they've really handled its opponents. Here in the playoffs. You know, Woodbury coming in, knocking off the number 2 seed in Wildwood as the 7th seed in the quarterfinals, and then was able to go to Shalleck and knock off the 3rd seed.
Now this Paulsboro team, a lot of people talk about, well, they're a Group 1 school. They beat some powerhouses. They beat Lenape, who took Atlantic City into overtime. Atlantic City's just on their way to the Group 4 final. They also defeated Paul VI, a team that was ranked number 1 in South Jersey. So this is not a team that you should confuse with being a lightweight. And now Paulsboro answers back as Burgess with 2. And again, at times, the game has been a little bit wild.
You know, both these teams, you know, they mirror the style of play where they're going to press, they're going to use the speed, get a lot of balls deflected and try to get it out on the break. So you're going to see that. A lot of turnovers, a lot of easy baskets on the break.
Inside look, off glass, good.
I'm kind of surprised how many, though. It has been a tremendous amount of turnovers by both teams not protecting the basket. You see Lundy getting worked on a little bit. That's to be concerning if you're a Paulsboro fan.
Again, still to this point in the game, only 3 scores for Woodbury. That was Denby, who has 4. Here's Johnson. Johnson up top, and he finds Alfred. Alfred has had a tremendous evening. Holloway, pull-up jump shot, good, that's for 3.
That was a good-looking stroke. You know, when you have an opening there, and both these teams, the way they play that type of defense, you don't get too many good looks unless you're out on the break.
Joyner Villa, quick outlet, Denby, inside, against Davenport, good, I tell you what. A courageous drive, 50-36. Here's Holloway, he just hit the 3. Inside Davenport. Up top, Johnson from a different area code. They'll pull it back, look for penetration. Johnson has it knocked away off his body, and Woodbury's defense is picked up precipitously.
Yeah, Dwan Martin that time just going to reach in, bounce that basketball off of Johnson's leg, and another opportunity to cut it to maybe 12 or even 11 with the 3.
Well, a lot of people were saying after that first half that this game was over, but Woodbury didn't get the message. Joyner across the timeline. Pull-up jump shot for 3. Short, pulled down. One of the rare misses by Smith. Here comes Lundy. Feeds, and just a little out of control, which has been a theme for the evening for both of these teams.
Well, remember, Rob, it was 23-4. It was a 19-point lead for Paulsboro in that first quarter. So Woodbury has actually outplayed Paulsboro since that time. And it's been with scrappy play, trying to get those garbage baskets, and getting out on the break, trying to drive to the basket. You know, they haven't been that efficient in the half-court game.
Inside, no good, knocked away. It's gone to Paulsboro. Smith again with a running drive and just couldn't get it to fall.
Avent wanted a block on the body that time, not going to get the call. Avent earlier today had shown his team the Woodbury-Salem 2009 championship game, trying to motivate his kids. Seeing what it's like to have a good time after the game and celebrate. Rob, I think you even got a piece of that.
I did. I was part of the Gatorade shower. I smelled fresh and sporty. Knocked away.
Be the first time.
No. Here's Johnson to inbound. Paulsboro's really had to earn every opportunity here in this second half. Up top, and once again it's Alfred. Alfred, who had really owned that first half. Kind of the flesh and blood, the heartbeat of this Paulsboro team in that first half. And there's Burgess, who has silently had himself quite an evening as well. Smith against Johnson, crossover dribble, drive inside. Smith, no good, falls, rebound, open three. High arcing long shot, no good, tipped up, and it's staying here. I tell you, Shawn, it's just been Smith, Martin, and a dash of Denby. Only 3 scores tonight for the Herd. It's amazing that they are still a part of this basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had that balanced scoring, but everybody's had an opportunity to chip in a little bit with playing some defense, getting some deflections, being scrappy throughout this the last quarter and a half. That's going to go back to Paulsboro. That hit the beam. Paulsboro will gain possession of the basketball after the ball hit the beam. Considered out of play.
Everything's tight here in this Paulsboro gym, including the ceiling.
I love this gym though. There's so much rich history, tradition here, but also I love the small gym. It's got that cozy feeling where, you know, you just sense the atmosphere, the energy that is either in a wrestling match or a basketball game. I know Kenny Event doesn't like it too much because of the length of Paulsboro, but it's just that special gym. There's been a lot of good memories here.
Alfred, too strong, rebound, Hurd. Denby. Martin to Smith. On the wing, driving inside, and Davenport denies. Triplet.
You know, one thing Davenport has done extremely well tonight, Rob, is not leaving his feet and picking up fouls because of it. He's kind of held his ground, using his arms and his length to do the talking for him. Has blocked a ton of shots that really needed. Wow, they're gonna get Davenport on the foul there. As kind of coaxing that one was Denby. Denby's a rough, scrappy type player. Sophomore, I guess, again, as I mentioned, you see there Isaac Redmond running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Has to be happy with his alma mater right now is the 16-point lead over the rival Woodbury Thunder and Herd.
Up top, and Denby tries to beat Smith. It's knocked out. Event pleads, but it won't go his way. You look in the crowd, you see a lot of Steelers stuff, and it's natural that the home crowd adopt the team of their home superstar, Isaac Redmond.
I think you see too many Patriots jerseys, though, and that's not anything to do with Alex.
Well, Alex was a taxi squad player until the Super Bowl, so I think next year when Alex is a part of the mix, we'll probably see some Patriot stuff here too.
You know what? I'm not a huge fan of New England because of obvious reasons with the Eagles, but I found myself rooting for Alex, obviously. Local guy, you want to see those guys do well.
Inside and denied. Look at Lundy elevate. Event wants goaltending, but I think that shot was still on its way up.
Oh, yeah. The Swatter, the X Factor. I mean, a huge game so far. Again, not necessarily filling up the stat sheet, but all the little things that he does really well. Pass the basketball, play defense, block shots.
I tell you, Triplet hits his first basket, and he's going to be the key here. Triplet is really a key component of this Woodbury offense, and they need to get him going. 52-39, baseline drive off glass, and that is a big basket, as answering right back is Salim Little with his first deuce of the evening. Smith, open three, too strong. Triplet kicks it up top. Penetration, feet inside, off glass, foul.
Yeah, right now with Davenport on the bench, Woodbury has to take advantage, try to drive the ball. It was a good decision that time by Martin to not just hoist up the three-pointer, but drive to the basket and create opportunities. Not only do you do that, but you get maybe a couple other guys in foul trouble who are trying to help out. Johnson on the bench now in foul trouble. You have the big guy, Julian Davenport, on the bench in foul trouble.
You're starting
that
to
opens
see
that lane.
You're starting to see some of these other Woodbury players contribute. Cameron Gamble with his first of the night.
That motivation. The momentum, the momentum. You have all that kind of spread starts to get contagious to your teammates when you see a couple other guys starting to have success. And you're not looking for just Smith to have your scoring for.
To the wing, thrown away. Little unable to hold on.
You know, Paulsboro built this lead because that's the way they play. They're not going to slow it up, but you just have to make sure that you're smart with the basketball. You have to be able to be smart with the basketball. Not a smart play there by Woodbury.
And Little with another basket. That's just too easy. And that's going to be knocked off of the knee of Little. 1:32 left. Woodbury can ill afford to give away easy baskets like that last by Little. Woodbury working. Smith, a long three, good.
Yeah, that's like a layup for Smith.
Mike
Terrific
Smith
look.
has been absolutely three-licious tonight. 56-44. Smith with 4 threes. Little has it knocked away. They're going to call a travel.
Demby once again getting those paws in there.
Correction, Smith with 5 threes. To the wing. Again, Woodbury pushing. Martin feeds, foul. And to the free throw line is Denby. He has 6.
Martin sold that perfectly. What a nice job by Martin, kind of slowing it up. And then, with the nice bounce pass, is able to distribute it over to his teammate Demby. That was set up nicely by Martin.
No matter what, you have to respect this Woodbury team. Look at the fight in this team. Against all odds, they are making this a basketball game.
They got to hit their free throws. That's where they're struggling at the line. They have to hit the free throws. The sophomore, knowing that, this is a kid you're going to hear a lot about. Demby's a nice player. He's another guy that does a lot of those little things. A scrappy guy, going to get on the floor for you. That's a tribute, Rob, to Coach Avent. This is a guy that didn't win back-to-back South Jersey championships just with the talent alone.
Shot is altered by Smith. Here come the Herd. Joyner Villa, penetration, knocked away by Lundy.
But that's about as demonstrative as I've seen Lundy. Usually a quiet guy that doesn't show a whole lot of emotion, but swats that one away and reacts after it.
We've seen a little of everything tonight. Woodbury maintains possession. And they'll look to create a shot. Joyner Villa from way out. Good! His first 3 of the night. It's inside of double figures now. 56-48. Here's Alford. Alford. And Paulsboro will look to slow it down. To the wing. Open look for 3. No good. Rims out. Here come the Herd. Pushing it up. Smith. Pull up 3. Smith. Good! This place is rocking. Here comes Alford driving. Wing off the leg of Paulsboro. And Collins may want to call a timeout. Not just yet.
10 seconds remains in this third quarter.
56-51. Joyner Villa to inbound. No trap here by Paulsboro. Pull up jump shot for 3. Goal! With 1 second left. And that's it. We head to the fourth quarter. It's 56-54. How the tide has turned. Welcome back to Woodbury High School, Paulsboro High School. It feels like Woodbury. This crowd is electric. Woodbury has found themselves back in the game, and now a foul called as Alfred trying to regain some of that magic he had in the first half. 56-54. Woodbury has scratched and clawed and really climbed their way back to make this quite a basketball game. Up top, Burgess, who's been outstanding. Davenport, too strong. It's Joyner Villa. A rare miss by Davenport inside. Here's Smith. And now Woodbury. Joyner Villa from way out. Good! Unbelievable. Woodbury has taken the lead in the fourth quarter.
It's like the entire group is in the zone right now. I mean, they're hitting everything that they're throwing up and just playing surely off of momentum.
Woodbury, another rebound. Outlet. Here's Smith. Smith drives inside, knocked away. Outside, Joyner Villa for three. Good! 4 straight threes now from Villa. Woodbury, a 4-point lead, 60-56. Lundy from the corner answers back.
Rob, I mentioned this earlier. There's two guys that you want to make sure that when you're having things going wrong, you stop the bleeding. Earlier it was Michael Smith for Woodbury. This time Lundy. Let's see if this gains a little bit of the composure back for Paulsboro here.
Be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos and more every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to nj.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One. The Star Ledger, powering nj.com, everything high school sports. Well, you talk about everything high school sports. This is everything you would want from a high school sports contest. 60-59 Woodbury with 6:52 remaining in this last quarter. Smith being guarded by Johnson. Looks for penetration. Pull up, off glass. And Johnson rebounds. Back to Johnson. Inside, knocked away. Lundy, good. Lundy takes back the lead.
Well, coming out of that third quarter, you saw an expression on Lundy, and he was absolutely out of his mind, angry at how the team finished and how they played in that third quarter. Let's see how he responds. Again, he's that go-to guy, a guy that's not going to show a ton of emotion, although he has so far in this game, but a guy that can keep his composure.
Alfred feeds the big man Lundy up top at the free stripe. Too strong, knocked around, followed up, short, inside again, and it's going to be Woodbury. Holloway unable to convert. Behind the back dribble, inside the paint, foul. Juwan Martin, who really helped to carry this team in the first half, with just 2 in the second half, will try to add to that total.
We mentioned Michael Smith and Triplett being the seniors, Rob. But you're seeing some of these underclassmen for Woodbury really start to exert themselves. Denby, Joyner Villa having a big third quarter as well. And, of course, Martin, who's at the line now. Martin has been a guy that's created a little bit of havoc offensively, but a guy that also can drive the ball to the basket and not be intimidated by Davenport's presence. But how they got back into this one, they still have been awful at the free throw line.
61-60, if Martin hits, we're locked up. He does.
Remember, when you look at Paulsboro's schedule, there hasn't been too many games where they've been tested. You know, there's been a couple against teams like Bishop Eustace, but most of their scores, especially late in the game, Paulsboro's been able to pull away. See how they respond to that late in this game.
Calvin Johnson now directing traffic for the Red Raiders. Alfred inside. High post, Davenport. Here's Johnson. Open look, 3. Good. Well, Johnson has not scored since the first quarter. but he has been saddled with those fouls, and now Johnson looks to be a big part of this offense. 3-point lead for the Red Raiders. Penetration inside, scooped underneath. Wow, what a move by Triplett.
You mentioned him, the senior needs to be involved. You can see the confidence has certainly grown for Woodbury. This is a team that seemed to play intimidated in that first quarter. No longer. They are definitely into this game and no longer intimidated whatsoever.
I think one of the things that you mentioned, Shawn, is key here. This is a Woodbury team that plays on the playground with Paulsboro quite a bit, so they are not intimidated whatsoever. But I tell you what, they are a team to be reckoned with, are these Red Raiders, as Alford hits. Too strong, nobody home but Calvin Johnson, 66-63. Johnson outlets to Lundy. Lundy picks up his dribble and finds Alford. Alford, Davenport for three. Way out, the big man.
Showing versatility. You gotta love it. The 6'7" guy's able to go outside, and as I've said, he's the complete package. Not only Lundy, but you see it in Davenport as well.
69-63. Woodbury.
Controlling
the
comes out with the
tempo.
man.
And ball on the ground. Timeout Johnson.
Smart decision.
You know, Dwan Martin made a good move, and it looked like he just peeked up to the glass and lost possession of the basketball, resulting in a key turnover with 3:52 left.
Just want to make sure the Cake Boutique out of Mullica Hill and also the Harrison House. Two of the reasons that we're able to bring you this terrific basketball game here at Paulsboro High School. You get a little diner food, go to Harrison House, get a nice meal, stop over, grab some pastries at the Cake Boutique. You didn't even leave town.
Beautiful thing. Well, here you see the Woodbury huddle. Kenny Avent, you mentioned before, he's a fine coach. 3 out of the last 4 years in the South Jersey Group 1 championship game. Last year, of course, Pittman was the champion, but this is a team that knows what it's like to be here, and you get a sense of that because they were down by so many points, but really didn't lose their composure nor their hope.
No, and they just caught fire in that third quarter. Everything they were throwing up. I mean, even they were off-balance threes that was going in. And you get that momentum, you get that, it spreads like it's contagious where you start getting that confidence. And you're right. Kenny Avent, and I would joke a little bit with our buddy Rob Edwards at halftime with what he say, nice season. Kenny Avent's not going to quit. This is a guy that's been here, and you don't get to this point without having some trials and tribulations. You have some problems throughout the course of the season that you have to work through. And Kenny Avent has been able to do that 3 out of the 4 years. That's a testament to what type of a coach he's been. That's a double dribble.
One of the things I liked about Avent is when we talked to him pregame, you just sensed how much confidence he exuded. And again, the players feed off of that. They recognize when the coach believes in them, and that's certainly the case here. He said he was excited about this game. He felt confident about this game. And again, Woodbury has illustrated they surely belong. And again, another lay-in here. It's a tight one, 69-65, as Gamble comes back with the deuce. Alford. Johnson looks to create. Inside, feeds Davenport. Fouled and good. Davenport, the man-child, will look to convert. He's had a three-pointer earlier, and now will try to make it a three-point play for his 6 points in this fourth quarter. In and out. Inside rebound, good. That's a heartbreaker as Holloway follows it up. Smith, shot, strong, rebound. Again, it's Holloway. Alford finds Holloway.
When Davenport went out, that's when Woodbury really made its run late in that third quarter. Since he's come back in, you've seen that the difference in this Paulsboro team. Like I said, they have so many different options to score, Rob, but Davenport is that guy in the middle that changes the dynamic of this team.
The heat, the intensity, the emotion in this gym, you just expect the top to pop off. Davenport with a three-pointer, a two-point field goal, and now a foul shot for his 6 points in this fourth quarter. And that rims out. Just 1 for 3 from the free throw line. It's 74-65. Woodbury needs a basket here. And timeout wisely called by Avent, as it was Martin who found himself in a heck of trouble. Well, just a reminder to you that you should be sure to pick up the Star Ledger for coverage of everything high school sports in New Jersey. In-depth articles, box scores, the Star Ledger top 20 teams and player rankings in each sport, photos, and more. Every day in the Star Ledger. And for even more information, log on to NJ.com for expanded coverage with blogs, video highlights, individual player stats, photos, and a selection of complete game rebroadcasts as part of our Game of the Week with Verizon Fios One. The Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, everything high school sports.
Sure is everything high school sports at NJ.com. Something special. I'm a big fan.
There you see Kenny Avent.
Bet you Kenny Avent's
comeback
a big
has
fan.
been very special, and he'd like to see a little bit more of it. They trail by 9, 74-65 with just 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Here's Smith trying to create. Smith gets himself into trouble. Alford finds himself into trouble, and now it becomes a rugby scrum.
Yeah, see, this is where Paulsboro, again, you're talking about keeping your composure. You have to be smart. And I'm not talking about emotionally, but with the basketball. Be smart with the basketball. You're up by 9 right now. This is yours to lose, not Woodbury's to win. This is your game to lose. You're on the verge of becoming South Jersey Group 1 champions. Now you have to be smart with the basketball. Pull it back a little bit. Waste a little bit of clock. Now, I'm not talking about don't get into your half-court set and try and score, but try to milk it a little bit.
Mike Smith, surprisingly, has scored all of his points in just the second and third quarters. He changes that now. .27 points unofficially for Smith. .74-67. Alford picks up his dribble. He's in trouble. He finds Lundy. Now Lundy. And Lundy is fouled. Demby, the perpetrator. And Lundy will head to the free throw line. Lundy, if you recall, really ignited things earlier with that three-pointer. He has 5 in this fourth quarter, 16 on the evening. And that's Lundy's first free throw. He's now 1 for 2 from the free throw line.
This guy, this is the way he plays, his overall game, the way he looks, the way he handles himself. Just has that calming effect. Rob, just seems to be smooth out on the court, and it translates to the rest of his team.
76-67, again a 9-point edge for Paulsboro. And foul called here. It looks like it's going to be against Johnson, as penetrating Martin, who has been a thorn in Paulsboro's side all night. Looks like they may call it on Alford. That's his 4th, so Alford will have to watch himself.
Lundy kind of reminds me of Chaz Witherspoon, who played here years ago, went on to become a professional boxer and a storied career in his amateur ranks. But just that same type of demeanor, very smooth, very, very elegant in the way he plays the game. Doesn't get too emotionally charged up where he's going to make mistakes. And Lundy's that type of player, very similar into the style of which they played.
Now we're going to have a foul, a block underneath. Gamble trying to draw the charge unsuccessfully. That is his 5th, so Gamble will call it an evening. He'll go to the bench with 4 points.
We talked about the Paulsboro graduates. So there's a few Woodbury graduates who were part of that run over the last 3 years with Kenny Avent. Isaiah Roberts starting actually at Navy right now. His brother Jared playing football for Lafayette. You have Marcus Davis at Ramapo. And I did see him in the gym earlier. D-Row Giris going to Chestnut Hill. He has some guys who have really come through this program that has had not only a nice career at Woodbury, but also here.
Davenport all by himself. And now the wheels are starting to fall off of the Herd's train. Turnaround inside, nicely done, too strong. Davenport wrestles it away from Triplett. Lundy, Davenport, fed inside, knocked away foul. Heading to the free throw line is Holloway.
Yeah, you're right. Kind of the wheels fell off here, and you see Davenport wide open. The big guy bringing it down. Cousins with Sean Phillips, the defensive end for the San Diego Chargers. Good bloodlines. See, he has that big frame.
Willingboro High School grad.
Your alma mater, correct?
That is correct.
Willingboro had a nice season. The boys team still involved. The girls team getting knocked off that number 1 seed.
Surprisingly by Delran. Foul committed 79-67, 64 seconds remaining. And one thing that Paulsboro does not want to do is stop that clock.
Yeah, the one thing, I think you had mentioned, Rob, was in the boys bracket, in Group 2. So we saw a Haddonfield team here against Paulsboro, and they didn't look so good that game, and that was just a tribute to what Paulsboro was able to do and all the ways that they can defeat you, and it seemed like Haddonfield just could not hang with them. That's how good this Paulsboro team is, and have a Haddonfield team is now in the finals.
Another missed free throw and another missed opportunity for the Herd, and that's really hurt them down the stretch.
Haddonfield with a win against Haddon Heights, another Colonial Conference team. Colonial Conference well represented in these smaller groups. And a really good basketball league, Rob. I think you're able to see that here. A lot of people talking about Shalleck and what they were able to do in Wildwood. They had nice seasons in that Tri-County Conference, but it shows the transition. You're coming from the Colonial Conference playing against pretty good Tri-County Conference teams. Woodbury as a 7 seed making its way into this Group 1 final.
Alfred now with 14. He's had himself quite an evening. 81-67. And Woodbury again with a turnover. Alfred lays it up, tipped away, followed by Lundy out of nowhere. Like Spider-Man coming down and slamming it home. Inside drive, good. Mike Smith answers.
See, now they're starting to celebrate here. Paulsboro fans, they kind of got quieted down by that Woodbury spurt, and although they took that lead, there was still a weird vibe here in the gym, Rob. You didn't get that whole sense. Maybe it was just still nerves. At 29-0, we're seeing the season go down in flames. But now, you're starting to feel it a little bit as this team within 39 seconds of becoming South Jersey Group 1 champions.
Stolen away. Woodbury, foul call before the shot. That's going to go on Johnson as he fouls Daniel Triplett, and Johnson has fouled out.
Yeah, Johnson is one of those guys. You know how you see on the floor Dwan Martin and Michael Smith and those guys who were able to create turnovers and just basically using the speed in their hands to be able to jump in there into the passing lanes. That was that player for Paulsboro. Calvin Johnson is as quick as anybody on the floor. However, we haven't been able to see that. He was never really into the game after he picked up those 2 early fouls.
Triplett hits the first. Both teams in the penalty. Triplett with his first trip to the free throw line. He now has 6 points. It's 83-71, just 37 seconds remaining here. And fill it both ends. 83-72. Paulsboro inbounds. It's Lundy. Lundy's fouled. And Woodbury Now just hoping that Paulsboro unable to hit free throws. Again, Woodbury is in the penalty, so Lundy will have an opportunity to hit both, regardless of what happens on the first.
I'll remind everybody, this game brought to you by Harrison House and also Cake Boutique, both in Mullica Hill. This year, we'll get you your 60th birthday cake over there, Rob.
Looking forward to it. It'll be stale by the time I get to 60, but I'm looking forward to it. Here's Lundy.
We've been kind of easy on each other tonight. Usually we're a little more in your face.
Outside three, too strong, tipped up. And again, it's Paulsboro with the basketball, 84-72. And Alford distributes. It's Lundy, feeds Davenport. Davenport, and again, just tells you something about Lundy there. He could have taken it, just selfishness, unselfishness personified. And Paulsboro will look to end it with a running layup. They do, as Holloway ends things here. Paulsboro High School, your South Jersey Group 1 champions by the final score of 88-72. And Paulsboro making a statement with a record now of 30-0.
So what an outstanding season for Paulsboro. Certainly not over, as they have plenty to still play for. But this is a step to what they want to win, which is a state title. Believe me, they can go further than that. I mean, you got to look at what they're able to do tonight, and you really saw a lot of that on display, especially early on. You know, Paulsboro, you have the different scores, and we saw that. I think it was the first 8 points scored by different Paulsboro players, but also defensively. You know, I think Rob Edwards said it at halftime. You look at the offense from this team and what they're able to do in the open court, how they get out in transition, but what's lost is that's all started on the defensive end, and they play tremendous defense. They have a well-schooled cast. They have terrific skill set, but what I like about them is they have different parts. They have tremendous parts. You have Davenport in the middle. You have Lundy, who just plays that all-around game. Johnson, we didn't see him much today, but he's able to steal the ball with anybody and distribute. And Alford is a terrific player along with Childress.
Well, we talked about the balance of this Paulsboro team. Alford and Burgess, really unsung heroes. It's always Lundy and Davenport that you typically talk about, but Paulsboro is so deep.
Oh, yeah.
And Davenport and Lundy, you saw that really in the first half, just their presence inside, how many shots were altered. Stick around, we're going to have post-game interviews and a wrap. Once again, Paulsboro, your South Jersey Group 1 champions. They win it 88-72. We'll have Coach Collins and a couple players for you in just a moment. Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. Paulsboro, your South Jersey Group 1 champions, victorious over their arch rival Woodbury, 88-72. Rob Christ here with winning head coach Sean Collins. You know, Coach, at the start of the game, it looked like it was going to go all Paulsboro's way, but you really have to credit this Woodbury team. The fight that they had, they really made it an interesting game as the game transpired.
No, you're right. I mean, that's what Coach Ava and the teams have been doing for the last 4 years. I told the Shallot coach on Friday, I said, listen, when you play Woodbury, you're never out of it, but they're certainly never out of it either, and they proved me right tonight.
You know, this is a team that you have that is so balanced. You know, coming into the start of the game, you scored the first 8-10 points without even having Lundy on the scoring sheet. Talk about the balance that your team brings.
Well, I mean, the one thing, Xavier and Julian are so big and so dominant, but Calvin Johnson, Juwan Alford, Donald Childress, Derek, Salim, and Theo have been balanced all year. It's a great luxury to have. You know, I really wanted our seniors to win tonight, obviously, because it was their last time in Paulsboro, and I know what that means to these kids. And Juwan Alford's first half was tremendous, kept us in it.
Yeah, he was nothing short of spectacular in that first half. And again, towards the end there in that fourth quarter, Woodbury looked like all of a sudden it was going to be their basketball game. But Xavier Lundy hit a big three and really started to change the momentum. You talked before about in the pregame about how he's so even-keeled and he's truly a rock. I mean, did you get that sense that all of a sudden the team was going to kind of fall behind him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous, but X has done it all year, and really the team has. I know we're 30-0, so you're thinking, no kidding, Coach. We've had different challenges throughout the year, and, starting with our leaders, they never get rattled. And like I said, I guarantee you we were more nervous than the kids.
You've had quite a coaching career despite your young age. Where does this rank? I mean, this is just unbelievable. 30-0 season. The last time a 30-win team has seen South Jersey was back in 1995 with Shawnee. Where does this rank?
It's tough to beat this. Like I said, I mean, my years at Shallock were so special to me, and I learned a lot from that. And, since I've been here at Paulsboro, it's such a great town. It's hard to beat this feeling right now.
I know as a coach, you always hate to look ahead, but that's all you have now is to look ahead. So let's talk about the state semifinals. What do you know about your potential opponents?
Well, Asbury's been the 6th consecutive sectional titles. They're the defending state champs. They're the favorite this year in Group 1. Florence, I know from different battles in South Jersey, they're going to be tough. At this point, like we all know, there's only 4 teams left in Group 1. They're all going to be good, so we got to be ready to play.
Well, I tell you have to like your chances. Tremendous balance. 2 superstars in Davenport and Lundy, and a fine coaching job by yourself. Congratulations. Let's throw it over to Shawn, who's got a couple of our players.
We're here with Julian Davenport, 21-10. You had to be a little nervous at the end of that third quarter, sitting on the bench as they cut into the lead. After you went out of the game, looks like they were able to get into the paint a little bit. How nervous were you sitting over there?
I was hoping the game ain't get too ugly by the time I got into the game. I wanted to stay fairly close so we could still get our rhythm back in, take a decent lead, and come away with the win.
Has it sunk in yet that you're South Jersey Group 1 champions?
Yes, it's unbelievable, but we're not done yet. We got to go and try to go for our second goal, state championship.
Woodbury came in, they don't have the size, but they tried to drive it at you early on. Is that something you knew? I know you know a lot of these guys from playing on the playground. They didn't look like they were intimidated from you. They were going to try to drive in on you. And I'm sure playing on the playground, that has something to do with it. They know you.
Yeah, they was coming in early. They knew they didn't know whether I was going to block it or just stand there. But first one, I tried to block, didn't go my way, so I had to stand there and make sure I stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, I think you played a smart game. That's one of the things you didn't do, is once you got an early couple fouls, you just held your ground. Was that something conscious, or did Coach Collins say something to you about that?
I usually do that most of the time. I usually don't come out and try for the blocks right away. But today, it seemed like I had it, but it ended up being on the wrong way. So I just staying on the floor. Like
you mentioned, you still have some work to do. Best of luck to you. A terrific game, 21-10. I'm here with, I call you the X Factor. I'm sure you've been called many other things. But Xavier, you had 21, 7 rebounds, I believe, and 4 blocks. A terrific game from you. Coming back, that was so much emotion from you. You were really upset at the end of that third quarter as they ate into that lead. Tell me what was going through your mind at that point.
I was very upset. You never want to give up a big like that, especially going into the fourth quarter. But it wasn't like they was really playing that good of a game. It was so much that we was letting them score and letting them take shots, and so I wasn't playing defense. That's what made me most upset. We let them do that. We gave up at the end of the quarter, and you never want to finish a quarter like that.
You play against these guys a lot because I'm sure you see them on the playground. I'm sure you know them a little bit. Yeah. Is there something where you guys do actually play with each other on the playground and know these guys well?
Not me particularly, but the rest of my team, we do know each other real good. So it's like playing with neighbors and stuff like that since we're so close and such a big rivalry.
You guys jumped out to that early lead. Did you feel like maybe you guys were sitting back, resting a little bit? Woodbury was able to play with you, but that third quarter is when they came back. Did that early lead kind of hurt you a little bit?
I knew us going on a big run like that, they was going to come on a run back, but I didn't think it was going to be that big. And I think us having such a big lead, it did kill us a little bit because we got too relaxed in the game.
Relax. That's you, man. You're so relaxed. I say you look smooth on the court. A guy named Chaz Witherspoon kind of reminds me of that type of player. He's a 1,000-point scorer who graduated. I'm sure you've heard of him before. But that type of attitude, is that something that you feel is a calming effect to the rest of your team, where you come into the game, and especially when a team makes a run, where you kind of take over, you score the 5 points to give your team a lead and eventually the win?
Yeah. Well, it's normally a good time to be cool, to be relaxed and come into a game like that and be calm. The rest of your teammates don't. But today, everybody else was calm. Nobody was like really into it in the second half. So I guess I had to be the guy to go in there and get emotional and tell them and talk to them on the sideline and stuff.
That was the most emotional that I've seen you. Hey, listen, congratulations. What a terrific season so far. Perfect, and still with some work to do. So we'll let you get to work because you still have your work cut out for you. Thanks a lot. I felt like I needed to get on my tippy toes. Typically, I go for the guards. I usually grab the guards because I don't want to look small. Those guys were terrific. What a tremendous game by Paulsboro early on. And you do have to give it to Woodbury because they're able to come back into the game and really eat away. Coming out of halftime, that's a team that could have quit and said, hey, listen, we've won a couple of titles over the last few years. Obviously, they're not going to think that way. But the way they were able to come back and get into the game and play Paulsboro-style basketball and do well says a lot about Woodbury. But you look at this Paulsboro team, I think there's just too many weapons. The style of play, the chemistry with this team is, really, when you talk about team, it's the sum of its parts. And really, you look at Paulsboro, they have so many different things that they do well that make them such a very good team. One of the better teams I've seen in a long time.
Well, this Woodbury team, you really have to give them credit. Again, it looked like it wasn't going to be a basketball game, but Woodbury had other thoughts. Kenny A. then has really illustrated through the years that he's a fine coach. Tonight is no different. We talked about the confidence that he brought into tonight. He gave his team a tremendous amount of confidence, and you have to believe that whatever he said to his team at halftime, they really fed off of it because they came out energized and came out with a purpose. At one point, they took a lead, and I tell you what, I don't think there's a single person in this gym that felt like at any point Woodbury was going to have the lead. Michael Smith, again, kudos to him. He single-handedly really took this Woodbury team on its back and made it a basketball game. For Paulsboro, Shawn, one of the things I find interesting is that for years this was a football town. Paulsboro has one of the longest winning streaks nationally, undefeated winning streak as a football team. As a wrestling program, second to none for years. They may now be a basketball town.
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. Hey, listen, they're enjoying their basketball team right now, but there's no doubt this is a wrestling town. But you look at this, look, Kevin Harvey, even when he was a football player, played basketball and took that team to a state title. And people forget about that because of what he was able to do on the football field. But over the years, Russell Carter, there's been some really nice eras of basketball here at Paulsboro, and this is another one. You look at those two guys we just interviewed, the scary thing, they're juniors. They're going to be back next year. You have those freshmen. So although the work isn't done this year, this is a team that's not going to go anywhere fast. For Woodbury, that's another young basketball program. So you're looking at possibly the future, a rematch here next year, whether it's in this gym or maybe Woodbury's gym. But those are the two teams coming back with a tremendous amount of talent. It's just right now, I think Woodbury just didn't have the experience, didn't have the depth, didn't have the skill set that Paulsboro is able to throw out on the floor. This is a very talented basketball team. And who knows what they can bring home, a state title, I certainly think is possible.
Well, as you mentioned, the odds-on favorite for next year are these two same teams. But we look ahead, and Sean Collins talked a little bit about, his potential opponents. Florence, who's always in the mix, and, of course, Asbury, who has been a fixture in the championship format once they created this tournament and the champions for years. So, again, Paulsboro with a talented bunch, and, you never know how far this team can go. Certainly, the class of South Jersey, 30-0 after tonight, your South Jersey Group 1 champions. For my partner, Shawn Leary, my producer, Stan Ritter, and all the crew, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Once again, it's Paulsboro victorious over Woodbury. Good night, everybody.